So I can be heard then? How echoey is this? Alright, well, hi. um, I just now saw that there was a Twitch setting on in the game. That's interesting. And I'll have to experiment with that, but yeah, for right now, I'm just relearning stuff. I had to re-download OBS and I'm messing with this with the settings because I don't remember half of this stuff. So, second one. And I will just be referring to my cell phone to try to see chat or whatever. Alright, I'll mess with that later. I was just playing this with my brother last night, which tends to make me feel like doing that again for a little while. I'm trying with some stat build stuff I don't usually do. I want to go an agility perception build. And see how that works. I want to enjoy the perception skill, but I seem to always have to prioritize something else. So we'll see how that goes. I don't know how regular this will be. I noticed relatively recently, on and off, and I'm not sure why, I get like new views. I get updates, and people are coming and check out my at least the public Facebook page. Um, and it makes me wonder, why people are being drawn here, but also it kind of makes me feel obligated to put something on here for them to see. I think I just got a little. I think I had other stuff going on before. Life, I guess. Nothing too serious. Um, but that's why I dropped out of it. And I think I have a better handle, on things. That noise is, I guess, maintenance doing something outside. I usually don't play on keyboard and mouse with this either, so. Craft, place, and upgrade. I'm just making a bunch of them because I usually like to keep a stack of them around. Craft. Crafted, placed. No, more wood and upgrade. This probably isn't gonna be long. I'm just testing. I'll go through and like distribute the stuff as I do. See how I feel about doing it again tomorrow. I like the little indicators of where this stuff is, because otherwise stone and stuff like that's a little frustrating to hunt down. No. Oh, cool. They do it based on a radius. That's nice. Locate trader. No trader. What? So granted, I must have gone with something custom and then some dated custom thing. Yeah, Nosgoth. on a second. Where is it? Delete that save. Back. Not going to Nosgoth. A new random world. I don't know what any of that is. I'm gonna go with Naviskane. That doesn't see. It's not throwing up any like alerts or anything like that. Yes, I customize all this stuff. So yeah, there'll be a little repeat of what I was just doing. I'm going Perception Agility. Going to be working on stealth, hunting type stuff. I'm going to try to home base in the desert and work around there because it puts you in contact with a lot of the buzzards or whatever they call the undead birds, which means tons and tons of feathers, which means tons and tons of arrows. Like I said, I don't know who's been checking me out. I don't know if it's any of the older people who used to watch me or hang with me on here. Sorry I dropped out. You know, life happens, I guess. Um, no one reached out to me on Twitter or Facebook or anything, so I assume that everyone else continued on just fine, and that's cool. Took me a bit to set this up. I had to like figure out that there was some issue with OBS communicating with Twitch, and hello house. Alright, plant fibers. It dropped me right by a point of interest. Oh, I'm right by the winter biome. Whatever, yeah. Cold biome. I normally enjoy the cold biome. A lot of water to be found. I don't know what the point of that is per se. Alright, more plant fibers. Pants, craft, sure. Craft. Yeah, I don't know. Wood. Craft a club. I'm just messing with this for now. I have definitely been playing different games. Most recently, I've spent a lot of time on an old school an EverQuest time locked like update type server. With a buddy of mine. You know, he played it back when he was pimping since been pimping. But he discovered this and was very interested in me getting involved. And I have to say, like, I'm not a big MMO guy for the MMO mechanics. I don't like a lot of that stuff. And we can get into that if that's a thing. But the mechanics that are present in the old school EverQuest are super cool. Definitely things that should be present in a lot of today's MMOs. Especially the way they foster community. I think just through the raw difficulty of the game. Just it's not that it is challenging to play, but it is not forgiving. There are penalties for death and failure, and so you want friends within that community, so you can't go around being some troll, or you're on your own, and that's gonna suck, because it's not like World of Warcraft, where you would run around and just kind of initially have these NPCs walking you through stuff and handing you things. You have to go and talk to people and figure out what quests there may or may not be, or there's factions, you have to learn languages. Travel is difficult. There's no fast travel if not through other people, and if you don't have people working with you to like give you buffs and stuff like that, it's a slow go trying to level and things like that, because you need to like stop and heal, stop and recover and stuff a lot. Even in the event you're a healer, you have to stop and meditate to recover your mana. I've never seen this little house type before. I can remember what this is based on, like in the older original part of the game. I'm reminded of a much older model. Oh, there he is. Yep. Cool. And I can barely hear. Because I would be hearing everything through my TV. I guess I was trying to do a no headset thing. Maybe I should just put the headset on so I can hear. This is funky little temporary safety, I guess, if that were a thing. But I'm gonna move on to my trader. I like to be very, very close to a trader. I like the mission quest aspects of the game. Stuff to do. So I'm looking to go agility, perception. I love how movement works with agility. The perks you get with that. It makes stealth pretty devastating. And then perception, because I want to mess with some of the hunter type perks. And I guess experiment, like, because in theory it seems like it would be great for food, just rolling in meat. But I have to see. There's also some perks with that as far as like loot gathering, treasure hunting, stuff like that. Oh, I've been playing Kingdoms of Amalur: Re-Reckoning recently. I guess I miss the old kind of like action RPG thing. But I'm a third person fan. I played through Skyrim and beat all of the content back when they had initially released all the content we've been messing with for the past decade or whatever, past forever. But they just kind of keep polishing that turd. I'm good on it. It was not a definitive RPG for me. I miss Morrowind. Miss it deeply. But Kingdoms of Amalur has its problems. It's a gorgeous game, and I would love to see a sequel. Since the first one ran into so many problems with the fact that it was kind of supposed to be a sort of MMO, and then that didn't happen, so you can see this wolf is probably going to mess me up. I did not expect to find a wolf. That's interesting. Well, I think that wolf's gonna come back to try to hurt me. Oh well. Yeah. They're messing with a lot of things. My biggest problem with Kingdoms of Amalur is that the way they set certain things up, if you care about getting all the skills or things like that, you have to get kind of meta with it. They also made the mistake of setting like zones and loot to kind of like the level that you find them at, which was a thing that they did in Oblivion, Elder Scrolls Oblivion. Which was a mistake, because then you find these Daedric items. You know what I mean? Even your big deal, epic Daedric items, if you find them at about the time you would naturally come across those quests, you end up getting like a level 6, level 10, level 15 version of that item. But the game and its enemies scale with you to your level, and the item will not. So you get this useless Daedric artifact. There we go. That's just questing for some experience points. I wanted to level. Start the process of investing in bow skills or stealth or something. I'll have to look at it. There was a mod for Oblivion later that made a lot of sense, where if you were carrying one of those items that does have like different leveled versions of itself, when you hit the next level range for the new strength of that item, it would remove the item from your inventory and put the higher level version of it in your inventory. I thought that was a brilliant fix. Amalur doesn't do that. So anyway, in Oblivion and in Amalur, what this means is you basically want to level to the maximum loot table range to before you start playing the game, really, before you get into any quests where they're going to reward you or find anything cool. And it's kind of a buzzkill. In Oblivion, I staked out a couple of like bandit and marauder caves around the central island, and ran that little circuit until I was level whatever 30 something. So then you start the game covered in glass or ebony armor or something like that.
If you got the Duke, I'll make the time.
Sell a flashlight, I guess I don't care.
Thanks for letting me take care of you. And tell your friends.
I should complete my quests then. It should give me some more points to distribute. In Amalur, it's a little weirder because initially they set these zones. The zones have these level ranges. Your first zone is a level range from like 2 to 5. Let's say your next one is like 6 to 10, right? If you're level 1 and you hit the first zone, then all the enemies and loot are going to be level 2 forever. So that kind of sucks. In Re-Reckoning, they changed that to where if you leave the zone and re-enter it, it resets the zone towards your new level. Now, granted, if you're level 10, you come back into that level 5 zone, or level 2 to 5 zone, it's still only, everything's going to max at level 5. And then loot is even stranger. Loot does this other little table thing where it's like, it could be this many levels above the area, or this many levels below the area. I don't see how putting it below the area is helpful. Anyway. And you get the same situation. If you complete quests to get awesome items, those awesome items are going to be leveled to you up to a point of like 40 or something like that. So you have to go level to 40 before you can start playing the game if you want the most awesome stuff. So that kind of sucks. But it means you run around and fight things in the overworld without getting involved in any quests or anything like that until you're 40. Me, I ran straight for the Teeth of Naros DLC. Because that will continue to level to me. I'm gonna go, I guess I'll go west. That'll continue to level to me, so I'll just exit the area, re-enter it. There's still some weirdness I'm trying to figure out about like getting the mobs to respawn and stuff, and yeah, it doesn't sound fun talking about it, but I guess I just want to complete it, you know what I mean? Get through it, have the run through and the save that I'm like, okay, I've done the things that I came here to do, and that's it. And be done with that game. There's also like a whole thing where like there's these skill books and trainers available in the world. So if you want to get all that you're going to get out of your skills, there's trainers that you have to meet at certain levels of your ability because they won't continue to function if you have too much skill in that ability. And they don't retroactively do anything. So you have to like know where these guys are, which means out of game homework, which I think is a terrible. That is not good. That is bad. That is bad game design. Um, wow, what a lovely. Cool. I know where the desert is. Wow, that's really neat. Hmm. The so you do that homework, and then you have to make sure you're at whatever skill level by the time you go find whatever trainer, and it is tedious. So now I'm out leveling up to I guess 40, and then I'll go find one of the Fate Weaver people to like retrain me or reset my stats, and then I'll go specifically fast travel to where those specific trainers are so that I can train that stuff and blah. It's really unfortunate because it's a very pretty game. Think, I guess, kind of like Fable 2. I like that kind of artwork. Um, I like the toony stuff. I like it to be a little bit toony or um, low res like Minecraft or Valheim. Valheim's awesome. Um, because specifically like the little bit of fuzz on the picture they're trying to present us, because it allows our brains to fill in certain aesthetic gaps, and it makes character creation a little bit less of an issue for me. I like to make people who look like me. I dig insertion in games. I want to be the dude running around there, and it's easier for me to achieve that if they're a little bit fuzzier about the details of the character, because then I can just go, okay, it's got a beard, it's got a bald head, cool, let's go. It's generally dude shaped, cool, let's go. If it's too specific, then it's like, oh my god, are the eyebrows thick enough, or are they thin enough, or is there, this kind of beard, or bushier beard. The more specific you get, the more extremely you can miss the specific marks, and that sucks. Also, there's issues with like suspension of disbelief. So if things are a little bit more toony, um, when your sword doesn't collide with a wall that you're swinging around because you're fighting a dude in a hallway, your brain doesn't register it as loudly. But when everything is hyper detailed, and some dude swings through a pillar and hits you, or your sword doesn't spark or glint off the wall and disrupt your attack, um, you notice it more. Because everything is so detailed, your attention to all of those details is so much more heightened, and I don't think that's great. I don't think that's super good. Also, when it comes to the difficulties of running the game, it takes less specs. It's less work for a system to run uh, a less how do I put that? A game that where all the skins and stuff like that have less resolution to them. There's just smaller files, smaller image files and stuff. Saw the bird. These birds are what I was looking for. There we go. Of course, it would help if I had a bone, right? Because I have to make a knife. So I'm already fatigued or whatever. That's not good. I have to find the trader out here, because I will build my base. Oof, got some of the nasty big old undead out here. I construct my base based on the location of the trader. Go very close to them. And I need to do that so that I can put my sleeping bag down. So that I can respawn when I inevitably get my poo-poo pushed in. I see a bird take flight, I assume it's already aggroed on me. The roads can be pretty promising. I don't usually do this whole hunt down a trader thing. I follow the initial quests and then set up shop like right after the first trader. I don't know if it's always the same, but I've lucked out frequently, and it's been Jen. She is my favorite trader to work with just because she's nice. There's like 3 or 4 other traders, and they're dudes, and maybe one of those guys isn't a douche. And I get tired of that. You know, I don't know. And I'm sure that there's something there about like why the designers make certain NPCs just kind of like antisocial morons. But it's just a little tiresome to have to deal with all the time. Oh, I only needed 5 bones. Alright. Especially if this person is like your main contact for a long time. I just don't want that negativity, man. And that's where I'm out here. Plenty of feathers. Once I land someplace, I'll be worried about stone and wood. Only a few trees, so I'll have to grow my own stuff, but I'm coming up this high because I'm trying to find the trader. Oh, this is a lot of country, and nightfall is not going to be kind to me. I kind of miss the original level up system where you did it by like practice. Scavenging perks. That stuff's gonna be pretty good. Actually, we're gonna go with the scavenging perks first. So. Slim chance to find better loot. Greatest treasure of all time, learning tricks of reach 7 blocks. Radius reduced. 10% more items in buried treasure. Craft quality 2, salvage tools. I guess that's wrenches and stuff. 10% more damage, harvest 20% faster, and gain 20% more resources. Wrench, ratchet, or impact driver. I'm going to not prioritize that right now. I'm going to go to agility. And put a point in archery. Sneak attacks deal an extra 50% damage. Yes. Yeah. That's the stuff we need. And then parkour is an awesome one. Increase safe fall distance. Alright, so we have the preliminaries of all of that. I wonder if these tiny trees even drop seeds. Or, you know, whatever. Yeah, it looks like it. Oh no, I'm hungry again. This game's hunger mechanic is just bogus. Anyway, I'm usually a fan of survival games. The more harsh the conditions, the better. I prefer them to be in third person, like Valheim. Valheim is sitting in an interesting place with me right now. I think that it's so nearly the perfect game for me. There are some tweaks that I would do to the general stuff about it. I'd probably make weather conditions more hardcore so that there was more interest in bundling up or whatever. What they did with hunger in that game is totally new. And initially, I thought it was alright. Okay, you juked me out. You got me. Initially, you'd get hungry, but you wouldn't starve to death. And you could just eat up before you go out and do stuff. It's okay. It was like, you basically, the food thing was only as tedious as you kind of wanted to make it. But then they did this whole thing where your block stat was based on how much of whatever you ate, like whether it was meat you ate and how much of it you were full, and stamina is separate from that. Stamina is like veggies or something, and they made it really, really complicated and made it so that your character doesn't function unless they're eating specific things or whatever. And every time I see one of these survival games attempt to really focus on gamifying eating, they make it so tedious. So tedious. Valheim blew my mind with how wild they got with just how complicated and crippling the food mechanic can be. It's not like I think your character should just be allowed to starve. But geez, it just becomes this whole thing where so much of your time is spent focusing on nothing but how you're managing this food. In Valheim, it's like, do you have these particular stations set up, and do you have this kind of farm? And if you look up Valheim, you see all of the people who make these mechanic breaking farms that try to generate all of the animals necessary to make the proper kind of food to get the most kind of stats out of. And I look at stuff like that and see that as a sign of that everyone recognizes. Ouch. everyone recognizes the poor game design. When you've got so many people working so hard to like avoid a certain mechanic in your game, get off of it, bro. Like, maybe it's not a great mechanic. There we go. I was like, can I not use this for some reason? And then in this game, so you have, I don't know where I want to start with it. You have to eat too damn much in this game. You'll see it if I get into it, if I can ever find. Is this just a point of interest, or is this the actual? Oh snap! Yes, it's Trader. I'm saved. This might actually be the guy who's generally nice. I can't tell right now because I can't really hear anything. Is that a bird? Bird following me in here? Anyway, hi Trader Bob. I see inventory. Do I have anything I want to sell you? Probably not. Okay. I feel weak. Varied supplies. Probably for the best. Oh, a cave. My brother was just talking about how there's not caves. I guess we just haven't been in the right biome. Alright, so clearly I'm going to have to set up shop because I'm like infected and hungry. You're probably going to dehydrate here soon. I guess we'll start with a 5x5 inside. Ever since I started in Minecraft, 2, 3, 4. I've had this thing about putting the doors in the center of locations and making them symmetrical and stuff like that, but I think more recently I've found like kind of like putting the door in the corner because it has more consistent lengthy wall space to hang stuff like in this case, you know, various supply crates or whatnot. Ground's being funky here. Maybe I did not select the best starting place. Stone shovel is going to take probably more stone, yeah. I'm going to need to start picking up in mass, but this doesn't seem like a normal rock though. Probably should have put my bedroll down. I inherited some ferrets recently. I guess the way that it works out is so our landlady comes by and she's like, "Hey, there's this ferret. It was outside my office. I don't know what's going on." She looked around, like she went to the different apartments and stuff and called around. No one claimed this ferret, and my girlfriend, being the wonderful soul that she is, immediately worried about this thing going to a local shelter because we're like pretty much surrounded by kill shelters. Ouch. And yeah, I mean, no one wants to see that happen, and so she's like, "Yes, we'll take the ferret." And I didn't have any objections. I honestly like just didn't really know about ferrets. I had friends over the years who have had ferrets, but never really entertained the thought of having one myself. Yeah, this thing's coming back for me. But I'm so glad that it worked out the way that it did. Family got together, finally figured out a name. It's Slinky, and he's just this sweet dude. Ugh, these guys and their reach. Oop, right, no stamina. Awesome. It's because of all the various conditions that I'm under right now. Missed. Thank goodness I put down that bedroll. Can I move? Would you let me? Thank you. Everything, please. Ugh. Oh my god. Alright. Here. So yeah, Slinky. Immediately went out, got him a whole bunch of stuff because we didn't have anything for a ferret. And then I worry. You know, he's a very sleepy ferret. So I worry he wasn't doing well. That's him back there. So I was like, he needs a friend. I'm gonna get him a friend. But ferret friends are very expensive. So anyway, we ended up looking around and finding someone was trying to get rid of a ferret. And we could have gone to the pet store, but at the pet store they've got like 6 ferrets or something. They're all together, and they're social creatures. So we felt kind of bad about like pulling one away from them. And she was talking about like buying all 6 of them. Like, oof. Make shovel. Okay. Nope. There it is. So yeah, we find this ferret, and I do a little background check on like where it came from and stuff, because places like Petco, the ferrets are fixed before they even get them. They're spayed and neutered at weaning. Which is important. I mean, Slinky's already spayed or neutered, so I guess it's not that big a deal. But anyway, so we get in this ferret, and she is not Slinky. That's Creamsicle, and he is super loud. He's like a 16-year-old cat. He freaks out like this all the time, for reasons I don't know. I've come to suspect it's like whenever he notices that all the humans in the house are not in the same room. I don't know. Could be setting myself up for failure here. One of the ideas about this character, this run through, is I'm not going to get super dedicated into mega fortifying my my base here. Because I'm just gonna run. On Horde Night, I'm just gonna run to probably a relatively nearby point of interest and work from there. Survive the night from there. Climb up the wall, fight from the roof, whatever. Agility makes that pretty feasible. Deal 210% headshot damage and have 10% chance to dismember with bows, handguns, and knives. Okay. Where am I on stone? 64 stone. I'll worry about how I want to uniformly set up these trees and stuff later. I just want them producing wood. Repair. Recipes. Stone arrows. Craft. We will attempt the sneak. It's getting a little late. It's kind of dangerous, but so yeah, she is not Slinky. She's not only super active, she's super aggressive, and so kind of getting them to be friends has been a little difficult because she's trying to, I guess, establish dominance, which it's fine. It's like that's an animal thing, cool. But she does it super violently, like trying to like bite at the back of his neck and stuff like that. So they're exposed to each other every day, intermittently, and that's monitored because I don't want all that crap. I don't want some accident to happen and one of them loses an eye because they're being freaky. anymore. Jesus Christ. That's where we start the mission, but what I tend to do is run through the place first and loot it. If I can. Oh, hello. Cool. The arrows have drop, so I guess I can't. Can I not gather mushrooms? Maybe I just don't know how. I don't know if everyone's dead or if they're just waiting to ambush me. I know this character is going to be particularly susceptible to ambushes. Things seem pretty alright. I guess I'll start the harvesting. Duct tape. Okay. That's a higher level bone knife. Scrap that. Oh my goodness. Oh, that sucks. Pretty sure I don't have anything to fix that, but that's a level 5 primitive bow. You see how long the status effects last? I have a laceration that's going to last 2 hours. 2 real life hours. There's ways that you manage it. Did you do this with okay. There's like, you can stitch yourself up and stuff like that, but even that just like reduces the time. It's kind of bonkers. The way that they do that is insane. You kind of reduce things to what would already be a long time. Yay, meat. Alright, I'm encumbered. Oh, that thing came through the wall. Sometimes there's this weirdness about building. See, that's floating. It's because it's like actually kind of on some kind of bit of block. And that's why I carry frames. But now that I've started this quest, for those who are unfamiliar, it repops the area, so now I can loot all those chests and stuff again. And because this is a clear, I get an indication of what's all in here, so that's helpful. Yeah, I probably don't need to aim for the head right now. Times 4 damage this early on is actually pretty potent. Cool. They're like, hey, return to the trader. You've done it. I don't know if my anticipated stats are going to allow me to really worry about growing and harvesting mushrooms, but I'm grabbing them just in case. Finding some interesting stuff. Pipe rifle. I don't remember if the traders deal in pipe weaponry. But we're going to find out. Part of the idea behind doing the missions, especially as early as I do, is because as you do them, you'll gain access to higher tier ones, higher tier missions, better loot, significantly more damage and survivability. I got leveled in there somewhere. Yep. I'll go with agility until it costs 2 points to level, and then I'll bring the skills under agility that I'm interested in up to whatever that new limit is, and then I'll do the same thing with perception. We'll see how we go from there. Okay, he's giving me Spear Hunter, which is relevant because spear is governed by perception. It's probably the melee weapon I'm going to go with. I won't sell the ammo. Not a lot to work with here. Okay, he did take the pipe rifle. And I can probably just make some, like, start making some cloth armor. I don't want to go crazy buying stuff right now. Question though. Mods. Oh, that's it. Alright. Yeah, should probably just, I'll just loot stuff. That's what I'm designed for. Oh, I didn't get a job. Buried supplies. That could be pretty shady because that kind of pins you in a spot. Okay. I expected a little bit more impressiveness from that. Anyway, so I think I'm going to do a single floor build here, which I also never do, but whatever. 7. I'm going to split it at 8, 9, 10. What's beating me up? Oh. I'll go with evens. I'm just going to want a place to kind of get out of the... Nightfall is going to be a pain. 7, 8, 9... the door over here. guess we'll see what I want to do as far as the I definitely want something visible so I can see when these guys are approaching and probably try and beat up my place. Probably just do a pit on the outside. Yeah, I'm not going to worry about making this too fancy right now. Couldn't tell you if those things heal over time or not. Anyway, it's feeling like it's about that time. Yep. Be waking my son up, and getting into probably other stuff. When I get back here, it's probably just going to be setting up the little base, trying to get this laceration taken care of, the infection. Nothing too crazy. So when I come back on here, it'll either be because I'm in a more interesting spot in this game. Probably will at least show my findings as far as the build goes. Or I'll be playing a different game. Kingdoms of Amalur or something else. I'm also open to suggestions. My other sites and social media locations are linked on the Twitch page, so you can drop stuff there, and we'll see what I do. Thanks. I don't know if this is going to be regular. Again, I don't know what I'll be showing, but I will steer away from things that are like slow building tedium. If you do see this, thanks. If you're one of those people who's been checking out my page while I've been gone, also thanks. And talk to me.